Hello and welcome everyone. For those of you who are coming into this experience and my world for the first time, my name is Theo. Special welcome to everyone who's new, and for the people who already know me, welcome back for yet another experience. I'm very happy to have you back, and a very special welcome to you too. Today is going to be a kickoff for this experience called Encounters with the Divine. And today is going to be setting the foundation for the full experience. So I'm going to be discussing a few different things, including what you can expect, what not to expect, what not to be attached to. I'm going to be talking a bit about how I see some important terms, including personal development, spirituality, divinity, and explaining the difference between them. And I will slowly go into my story. And of course, I'll be introducing myself for those of you who are new. But this whole experience, the inspiration for this experience came from my journey coming to its 11-year anniversary. So on the 15th of July, 2014 is when I had my spiritual awakening. And I went from being a software developer who was a hardcore atheist, very rational, very skeptical, even though I was from India, especially because I was from India. I was very resistant to anything to do with religion and spirituality because it was very dogmatic, because I saw a lot of hypocrisy in people, the way they spoke and the way they acted was very disconnected, very incoherent. So I just thought it's all full of shit. And I just completely shut that out of my life. And anyone who would come to me and talk about spirituality, I would make fun of them and be very aggressive in pushing them back. So when I had my spiritual awakening, I had no interest in spirituality. I was not looking for it. I was very happy with my life the way it was. So whether you are someone who is skeptical and curious, or you're someone who is deeply spiritual, this experience is going to be for everyone. And I know it works because I was that person. No matter how skeptical, how rational, how logical you are, your beliefs are not a requirement for the divine, for spirituality. A lot of people associate spirituality with believing, faith with believing. I'm not here to give you beliefs. I'm not here for you to convince you about anything. I don't need you to believe anything for you to have this experience. And this is the base. Okay, so just I want to make it clear that this experience truly is for anyone. And you may have come into this thinking that you're going to get something specific. You may have some expectations from it. You may have some attachments around what certain words mean. For this experience, my request to you and my suggestion to you is to take a step back and just be open. Be open to whatever happens. Be open to receiving whatever is meant for you. Something brought you into this experience. We don't know what it is. You may have seen a post. You may have been invited by me directly. You may have come across something, but you accepted the invitation and you are here. That means that there is something in store for you. It may be what you think it is, maybe something that you can't even imagine. So just be open. Just be open. If you need any kind of help or support during this experience, you can use the chat during the live experiences, whether you're watching it on the Facebook live stream, whether you're watching it live on Zoom with me, with us over here, you can use the chat. I have Anne, who's got Anne Cairo. Oh, yeah, Anne Cairo on Facebook and here on Zoom. She's going to be supporting all of us in the chat. So if you have any tech support questions, any help you need, you can message her either publicly or privately. and she will help you out. And any other questions and any other support you need because of what experience you're having, things are coming up, emotions are coming up, you're having resistance, you hate what I'm saying, you are feeling certain things. If you need support with any of that, either raise your hand on Zoom, put a comment in the chat, or put a comment in the chat on Facebook. If you're watching the recording later, you can drop a comment even on the recording, or you can create a post in the Facebook group, or you can send me an email. If you need support during this experience, I'm here for you. We are here for you. This experience can be challenging. It can be fun. It can be everything under the sun. Okay, so just allow the experience to be what it is. I came into this experience primarily out of gratitude, to give back. For 11 years of countless blessings that I have received, for me awakening to the divine and the spirit 11 years ago. It has been the best gift I have ever received. And over the past 11 years, I have received countless gifts, countless experiences that have completely transformed my life. And I'm going to be going into that during this full experience. So for me, the divine, the spiritual is that which is beyond our logical mind, is that which is beyond words. We can use some words to communicate about it, but it's everything that is beyond the realm of our usual reality. And so what I have found that the best way to communicate about the divine is not just to give you theory and ideas and concepts for you to think about in your mind. For me, the most important thing has been to directly experience the divine, because I could never believe someone else. It would never work for me. When people would tell me something about their beliefs and they would tell me that this is what the divine is, it would just be an idea for me. And that would cause a lot of resistance because it was just theory. It was just something I have to believe in. And how can I believe in something that I have not experienced myself? For me, the most important thing here is going to be for each of you to have your own experience. And in my experience, the best way to do that is to talk through stories, because stories, while they partly speak to your mind, they speak a lot more to your soul. And these stories are not just random stories. They are very specific stories that I will be sharing, which contain a lot of codes. It's a transmission. So when I'm sharing something, I don't want you to just listen to it from your mind. I want you to feel it. I want you to connect with it in a way that allows something within you to start speaking, allows something within you to start opening up. A voice that you may not have been listening to ever, a voice you may have been suppressing. Just allow the story to speak to you. Allow something beyond your usual narrative, something beyond your usual mind to speak to you. And if you start hearing something and it starts speaking to you and it's challenging because it's confronting your ideas about life and reality, it's okay. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here to support you with. That's when you can ask for help. If you're struggling with something, if you're struggling to incorporate something that's coming up, that's when you ask for support. So let me just think, where do I want to go from here? I have come to this experience prepared in a way and completely unprepared in a way. I have not come to this experience with planning. exactly what I'm going to say, exactly what I'm going to do. I don't have a plan for this experience because this experience is meant to be more in the connection. It's meant to be more of a transmission. It's meant to be something that I channel. And for those of you who are not familiar with channeling, it's basically when something beyond communicates through me. It's for me to be a vessel for something to communicate through me to you. And I have been on this journey for a while, and it's taken me a long time to understand how all of this works. And it's for the first time that I am also stepping into a whole new level. So this experience, while it is a giving back, while it is a celebration for me of my 11 years on my journey, it's also a step up to a whole different level. And this I will be describing, I'll be explaining more about, but for those of you who don't know me, the name that I use is Theo, and that is short for the infinite zero. And this name and this identity is something that I received in 2019. And I'm going to be talking about the story of how this identity came through in one of these days. But prior to that, my name was Rohan, and I was born in India, and I was given the name Rohan, and I was given a whole personality along with it. And that is what I associate with my human self. Theo is what I. Okay, so there's, just let me check some things happening in the chat. Okay. So I was given this name and this personality of Rohan, and I lived with that for most of my life. Then I transitioned to Theo, and that was my chosen identity. That is the identity I created for myself. And that's when I connected to my higher self. So there was a long period in between where I was Rohan, but I was on the spiritual journey. Then I connected with my higher self. I connected with something beyond, which was very clear to me that this is a different version of myself. So I'm just once. Okay, I'm going to remove this person, or Anne, if you can help me to do that. So I was in this in between, going from Rohan to Theo, understanding what it means to be Theo. And in the past 2 years, I had yet another level, yet another awakening, where I was initiated as a spiritual master. And when that came through for me, it was a very confusing time for me because I was not ready to receive that identity. So for the past 2 years, what I had been doing was working on incorporating and solidifying this identity as a spiritual master. And it was then that I started understanding that the channel to the divine is separate from who I am. And learning to separate these two allowed me to know that there is my human self, there is my higher self, and then there is a divine channel that works through me. So during this experience, what I call Master Theo is the channel. And I will be entering into a state where I'm channeling. So right now, I'm just Theo. I'm here facilitating this experience. Very human, very grounded, very normal. But as I go deeper into this experience, there will be certain times when I start channeling and I start bringing through something that is beyond me. It's not me anymore who's talking. It's coming through me. I take responsibility for what comes through me. So it's not, well, I said it and it's not on me. It's not that. But what I want you to understand is that this is speaking through me to you. And this is the divine speaking to you. And so I wanted to show up in this experience that you have the opportunity to connect to the divine in multiple ways. First is you and the divine directly. You are the primary experience. You have a voice within you. I want you to connect with this voice, the feelings, insights, however it speaks to you. But the divine is going to be communicating with you directly. That's the first. That's the first context. The second context is where I will be the channel and the divine will speak through me to you. And it can happen in several ways. First, I may say something which is exactly the thing that you need to hear, that you're meant to hear, and it awakens something, you feel something, you have a breakthrough. Stuff starts happening, you start expanding. So one can be through resonance. I say the exact thing that you're meant to hear. The second thing that can happen is that I say the exact thing that is the opposite of what you're meant to hear. And that means contrast. I say something and it hits you in exactly the wrong way. Okay? And that's fine. That's also perfect. And nothing wrong with that. If I say something and you don't agree with it, and you actually go to the other extreme, and you're like, I don't agree with this at all. I believe the opposite. I know the opposite. My experience has been the opposite. Perfectly fine. Like I said, I'm not here to give you beliefs. I'm not here to convince you of anything. I'm not here to be right. This experience is meant to bring through whatever it is meant to bring through. And for some people, the same statement for one person may be resonance, for the other person may be contrast, because we are unique people. We are unique beings. And the energy that is coming through will hit certain people in some way and other people in different ways. So there's no right or wrong here. It's very important to understand this. Neither I am right or wrong, neither you are right or wrong. If I say something, it's not because I'm judging you personally. Okay, it's just whatever is coming through, however it hits you. If you feel judged by it, that is your experience. Go with that. If you feel cancelled, if you feel like I'm making you feel like you're wrong, that's your experience. It's not me judging you as wrong. It's not me canceling you. It's how you are receiving. Allow that to happen. Allow yourself to receive that and understand why that contrast is happening and what you're meant to take from it. Is everything clear so far? If there are any questions, let me know. And I do apologize about the chat. There was some nonsense going on, but that's what happens. This is a public experience. There will be multiple opportunities during these days where I will also not just be sharing my own stories, but I will be inviting y'all up for transmissions. I will either ask questions or I will give a contemplation, and anyone who feels connected to what I'm asking, you can raise your hand and I will bring you up. We will have a conversation, and in that conversation, there will be a transmission. Something will come through that's specifically for you. So I'll be channeling for the group, and I will be channeling for specific individuals. There'll be plenty of opportunities throughout the experience. So if you don't have to be anxious about it, if you do not feel called to a specific question, let it go. And if you feel called and I don't call you up, that's fine too, because this is a group experience. What one person is experiencing is going to activate things for everyone. That's how we work in a collective. We are all here We are all connected. Okay. No one is here that is not human. We are all human. We all have many things in common. And we are all going to get something when a single person is also receiving. It reaches everyone. So no attachments that you have to receive a personal transmission. Don't be afraid of it also. Whatever comes through, you don't have to take it. You don't have to believe it. If you want to ignore it, you can discard it. It's all good. But if you feel called, just raise your hand and we'll see what happens. So first thing I want to, not first, I already said so many things. I don't know why I said first, but the next thing I want to go into is how I see the difference between personal development, spirituality, and divinity. And why I have distinguished these three is because I see them as three different levels of the inner journey. We have personal development, which is working on oneself, mind, body, emotions, but it's all just in the realm of self, and it's all in this, what is usually called the 3D reality. You can be working on discipline, you can be working on confidence, you can be working on getting a better job, you can be working on manifesting more money, relationship, you can be doing all kinds of things, but they're all being done in a very linear way, in a very logical way. You're doing it with the mind, you're doing it following some tools, practicing discipline. Everything is just very straightforward. That's usually what is seen as the personal development world. The next level for me is spirituality. And spirituality for me is the energetic world. It's where we go beyond the physical and we start entering the world of energy, which is the world of spirit. Spirit are specific energies. Spirits are specific energies or entities. But all energy I see as spirituality. And a lot of people mix personal development and spirituality. They're doing personal development, but they call it spirituality. And it's fine. There's no judgment about it. The reason I want to distinguish this is to make it clear that there is something so much deeper that we all have access to. And if you are on personal development, that's great. Like I'm not judging it at all. I'm celebrating it. You are in the personal development space. That's great. What I want to make everyone aware of is that it can go so much deeper when you start entering the energetic world, when you start realizing that there is a lot more to personal development, which starts entering into things that are beyond what we can see, things that are beyond what may be logical to us, because our frame, our model of reality is that everything is physical and we have the five senses and that's all there is to it. And I'm going to be doing some experiences where you will actually get to feel energy with your hands. You will get to sense all of this. You don't have to believe me here. You will actually get to feel it. And then the next level after spirituality. So I'm going very superficial right now, just describing briefly, and I will deepen this as we go through the experience. The next level for me is divinity. So spirituality is what I see as everything that's related to energy, spirits, entities, and I distinguish that from divinity simply because I see divinity as the highest level of spirituality. And divinity specifically is to do with our relationship to the divine, our relationship in terms of purpose. So the way I see it is that spirituality, you can be working on yourself and energy and healing and doing all this journey forever and still be completely disconnected from your divine purpose, your place in the universe, your position in the universe, what you are meant to be doing, who you are in the grand scheme. These two can be completely disconnected. A lot of people are on the spiritual path and they have no connection to the divine. And I was there for a long time. I did not know what is my divine purpose for a long time. And what it left me with was a lack of structure, a lack of knowing what is my place in the universe. I was constantly seeking and trying out different things and just randomly like, okay, today I'm this, tomorrow I'm this, the day after that I'm this. And nothing actually feels like it's really, really me. It feels like me, but is it who I'm really meant to be in the universe? Is this my place in the universe? Is this my role? Who am I in the grand scheme of things? For me, that is when we enter the realm of divinity. Because there, you are part of a bigger picture. The way I see spirituality is that there is no specific bigger picture. The usual spiritual concepts are everything is one, we are all connected. Yes, it's true. But is there a bigger plan? Is there a bigger picture? What is your position in the universe? Spirituality doesn't specifically talk about that. That's usually been in the realm of religion. But for me, divinity goes beyond religion. It goes beyond a specific god, goes beyond idols, goes beyond rituals. It's literally what is your position in the universe. Like the sun is located at a very specific position in the universe. It has its role, it has its purpose. So support the solar system is to feed life on Earth, to keep things going. It's very specific. In the grand scheme of things, the sun knows exactly who it is and what it's meant to be doing. That's what I see as divinity for our inner journey. Is when you find your place in the universe and you know exactly what you're meant to be doing as a soul. And so my intention for this journey is to go through these levels. And we'll be talking about all of them to some degree. But my focus specifically is in spirituality and divinity. For the people who are very new to this and who do not have a lot of experience with it, we will see for each person what level you're ready for. Because you may be completely new and you're ready to go right to the deep end. That's what happened for me. I had no intentions, nothing, no beliefs, no experience, but I was thrown straight in the deep end. I had my encounter with the divine was my first experience. Like I just met with the divine. And then I got into spirituality and then I got into personal development. Like for me, it went completely in reverse order. So I don't believe that there's a specific way to do this. I don't believe it has to be done step by step. But I do believe that each of us has a capacity, each of us has a readiness. And for me, there's no judgment about it. You are ready for whatever you're ready for. And I respect that. I honor that because I also know that if someone is given more than they can handle, it can backfire and it can be destructive. So my role is to honor whatever is meant for you and give you what you are ready for. Help you to integrate what you're ready for. And for some people, that may be just entering into the spiritual realm, starting to understand energy, starting to understand the laws of energetics. For some people, they may be ready for the next step to go to the divine, to start understanding the divine purpose, divine laws, how things are structured at that level. And for some people, you may not be ready for any of it, and you're just here and you're receiving things, you're receiving seeds, and they may not be ready to bloom yet, but they're planted, and you receive it and you move on, and someday it makes sense. And that's fine too. There's no attachment from my side on what this experience is meant to be for anyone over here. At the same time, if you feel like there is something that you're not getting, if you feel like you want to go even deeper, like whatever I'm saying, you get it and you want to take it to a whole different level, let me know that too, because I believe that I am able to channel for people. If you are here, I'm meant to channel something for you. And if what I'm giving you is not enough in a sense, When you're ready for the next level, just ask and you will see what comes through. So I just want to take a break, pause for a minute, and see if there's any questions, any thoughts that you want to share about whatever I've shared. What is your perspective on personal development, spirituality, divinity? Do you disagree in some way? Do you see a nuance in some way? Does this bring up something for you, or you want to just share? Have you been, like, what level have you explored this far? Have you been on the spiritual journey? Have you been on the divine journey? Have you just been doing personal development? Not just, have you been in personal development or none of it? I would love to see in the comments what stage you are at, so I can also calibrate that way and I can understand what needs to come through in this experience. So while you'll contemplate this, while I am waiting for you in the comments. I would love to hear. So okay, we have some. It's been an incredibly deep journey from personal development to spirituality over the last 7+ years. Wonderful. You started with personal development, Sean. And where are you now? Transcendent experience in 2019. I remember. So you're exploring the realm of divinity now. So Sean, why don't you unmute yourself and share with us a bit what's your perspective on this spirituality, divinity, personal development?
Hi, everybody. Not sure where to begin because I feel like I'm going to be fast to be respectful of the group. So some context will be missing. But after the transcendent experience, I came home with ears wide open to my intuition. It was something that I would have considered to be, I think, unreasonably before because it was irrational, but it was completely reasonable the way that it was communicating to me. So the hard thing for me was to come back to the States and try to build up this new epistemology in my life when the environment is so influential and the culture and the people that I share this environment with here in California really had not much to say with any of the new ways that I learned to see in the world. So I actually kind of took that as like a personal benefit for me personally. Like it was good for me to have that contrast. But the challenge for me was to keep that earnest devotion going every day. So I'll say this: it wasn't a challenge to do that. Like my fire was lit, you know. But that's what helped me. So to me, the lesson from my experience is that changing your ontology and your epistemology, the way that you know and think about the world, is like crossing a vast Yukon. And there's not a map, there's not a guide, but there's lots of artifacts that other people have left behind for us to read and learn from and enjoy to do that. And so that's what I did. I just made it a daily practice to come to that and learn how to take these feelings and visions that I had and crystallize them into ways of knowing that I could share with the world. And I'll leave it there.
Beautiful. And how do you see the divine? How would you summarize it? What's the divine for you?
Mystical. It's a big fat mystery.
Okay, wonderful, perfect. Thank you for sharing. So Lee says you didn't realize how linear your journey was until now. Atheist, personal development, spirituality, and very recently divinity. Beautiful. So one of the things that Sean shared, I'll just put you on mute again, Sean. So one of the things that Sean shared was, I forgot what I was going to say. So I'll come back to it. I will remember. But one of the things I wanted to say earlier was that I want each of you to see this as an opportunity that you have the opportunity to receive something that is truly divine in nature, that is truly sacred. And if you knew for a fact with certainty that you're going to receive a divine gift, if you're going to receive a very precious gift, something as precious as the gift of life itself, something that you really can't put a value on it. If you knew that you're going to receive that in this experience, how would you show up? What would be your attitude in these meetings? For me, this has been something I have been working on recently, especially is that I heard about this, that this feeling of reverence. And I feel like I have been missing this a lot in my life. And I do feel like a lot of people are missing this in their life, is to show up with reverence that something is sacred, that something is precious, and it deserves our respect. It deserves our full attention, our presence. That, let's say if we go back to the times of kings and queens, and you're entering the court of a king or a queen, the way you show up there, there's a lot of reverence, a lot of respect, simply because you're in the presence of someone who has a lot of power, someone who is very special. And you know that just being there is a privilege, it's an opportunity. You don't go there because you have a right and you're entitled and you can just do what you want and you can dress up shabbily and you can be late and you can be casual. Like there is an order, there's a decorum in a royal court, that you show up in a way that has this respect, that has this reverence. And I'm not asking for this reverence towards me, but I'm asking for this reverence towards what you are meant to receive. I'm asking for this reverence to the divine. If you knew that there is something that's sacred that you're going to receive, I want you to treat this experience in this way, because if you show up in this way, you will receive something to that extent. Doesn't mean that if you don't show up in this way, you won't receive it, but the chances are higher because your attention is a lot higher, because you are much more open, and you will end up receiving more than what you will if you are tuned out. If you're not paying attention, you'll just miss things. A small statement can change everything. I just, before this, 2 hours before this, I was having a transmission. So I offer these divine transmissions, both for free and paid. You can find them on my website. And someone signed up for that, and she's also part of this experience. So you'll see her in the group. When we started the session, I asked her to start sharing about her life. And she was sharing about her life about 10 minutes. And I just said one statement to her. I asked her one question. When is the last time you had stability and calm in your life? And she went looking for it, and she tried to remember, and she realized that she has never had stability in her life. And just that one question changed everything for her. She was in tears, just in realizing that it is the first time in her life that she has found stability and she's found peace and everything is calm. And literally, she was like, when she came to the call, her intention was, something feels off. I should be doing something more. I should be, I feel like I'm falling behind. I feel like I'm not doing enough. That was the energy, because everything was very stable and boring. And the moment I asked her that question, her whole life changed in realizing that it's the first time she has stability in her life. But it's because she was present She was fully present, and like that question changed everything for her. This experience is going to be the same. Small things can have life-changing impact. So if you show up with that level of presence, I say something, it hits you in the right way because you're present in the right way. But if you are cooking, something is happening in the background, you're watching a replay on 2x, and this is just one more free workshop that you signed up for and you just treat it that way. And that's the experience you're going to have. Or you can treat this experience as something that is going to profoundly change your life forever. It's going to be more than life change. It's going to change you. It's going to rewire you as a person. If you show up in that way, the chances of that happening are just significantly higher. I believe that if you are here and you are present to some degree at least, it will work for you anyway. Something will happen anyway. But I want to maximize your chances for having the most profound experience and getting everything that you're meant to receive from this. So I want to give each of you a question to contemplate on for a few minutes. How often do you connect with that which is beyond? This is obviously for the people who either believe in it or know it from direct experience, but those who don't, that's fine. You can contemplate just what you're feeling in this moment. But for those who have had some kind of transcendental experience, that those who are connected to a reality that's beyond the physical and beyond themselves specifically, how often do you connect with that which is beyond? I would love to hear in the chat. So I will also read Scott's statement till then. So I definitely feel aligned with my purpose and have clarity about that. This way. Thank you for sharing. Sean connects with the divine on a daily basis. I will give one more addition to this question. What I used to do and what I've seen in many people is that they connect with the divine usually in tough times. When there's a struggle, when there's some pain, when there's some obstacle, something is off, you connect with the divine to figure out what's going on. We connect with our spirituality, we connect with our energy because something is off. So now I need to fix it. Now I need to figure out what's going on. So I take a moment to meditate. I do something to connect with the beyond, and that's when I do it. But usually when everything is good, I have in the past had a tendency to just forget about it. And because everything is good, I can just keep doing my normal life and keep going. So is this you? Do you connect with the divine only when things are off? Or do you also connect with the divine when everything is great and you're still listening to what does the divine have in store for me today? What am I being called by the divine to do today? What is my purpose here? How can I show up? How can I give back today? So Lisa's question, is it anything outside of you trying to discern between the divine and my highest self? Somehow I feel there is a slight difference. For now, let's just keep it anything. Anything that feels beyond your usual self. So the reason for bringing up this contemplation is that during this experience, I would ask each of you to up your frequency of connecting with that which is beyond. Even if you do it daily, maybe do it several times a day, or do it more spontaneously. So maybe you have a practice of doing it every morning. Continue with that and add spontaneously connect with the divine and ask, what is there for me in this moment? How can I give back in this moment? I feel like this is a very important question. It's not only what is there for me to receive, but also how can I give back? What am I here to do? What is my role in this moment? What is my role in this situation? What is my role in this person's life? Ask these kinds of questions, but don't ask them just to yourself. Ask for guidance, ask for inspiration, ask for something beyond to respond and guide you. Just be open to listen. And if you don't do it daily, at least for this experience, I would ask you to do it daily. And if you have never connected with something beyond you, still be open to it. Ask. Just put this question in your head and wait for a response. And it doesn't have to come immediately. So for those of you who have never had any kind of experience with something outside of yourself, it may sound like just you talking to yourself, but sometimes you may get a thought which is very unusual. You may get a feeling which feels like, I would never feel this, I would never think this. And that is usually a sign of something else, that you're connecting to something else. So even if nothing happens, it's fine. But I would really encourage you to take this exercise and do it on a daily basis, just connecting, even if it is to yourself, even if you see it just that I'm connecting to myself, connect to a deeper level of yourself. Ask yourself, what is life having in store for me now? And what can I do to give back to life now? Let's see some responses. Lisa also connects daily, and Scott says it's a matter of degrees, for instance. Communication via prayers, devotions, daily, sometimes in response, feeling a greater spirit fill you. Hmm. And as I said, we often connect to that which is beyond in difficult times. And this is something I would like to propose as an even as the next level exercise, is that for things that are feeling difficult, any kind of pain that you have, any kind of obstacle, any kind of challenge, if you are someone who usually connects to the divine in this case, do that and see if you can go even deeper with it somehow. For those who don't, for those who try and solve all their problems, all their pains, all the obstacles just with their mind, trying to figure out a solution that is very rational, logical, linear, if that is your usual approach, then especially in things that are not working in your life, anything that is out of place, anything that feels out of alignment, for that specifically, I would add an extra exercise. So you connect just generally, but specifically for something that feels off, out of alignment, some pain, big or small. See if you can connect and ask, what is this pain trying to teach me? How can I see this in a completely different way? It will allow me to rise to a different level and allow me to transform this in a way that is not my usual approach. What can I do beyond my usual? guide me, just opening yourself to answer this question. Even if you are deep on the spiritual journey, even if you've been doing personal development for a long time, and you know how to solve your problems and pains and obstacles with your tools and techniques, you're used to doing that already, I would ask you during this experience to step back and ask for guidance to do it in a different way, in a deeper way, in a way that is going to take you to the next level. And especially if there is something that feels stuck, especially if there is something that you have been dealing for a long time in your life, for that specifically, I would say, just be open. Be open to receiving that there is an answer here for you that is going to shift things. Doesn't mean that all the problems will be magically solved. Doesn't mean that the magic wand will come and swipe away everything. But a lot can happen. And I want to share a bit about what happened for me when I had my spiritual awakening. 11 years back, was someone who, as I said, I was a software developer. So I was working anywhere between 16 to 30 hour stretches, no exercise, just sitting on the chair all the time in front of the screen. My recreation would be watching TV, so more screen time, no movement. I would be smoking 30 to 40 cigarettes a day. I would be smoking 8 to 10 joints of marijuana a day. I would be, in the last year before I had my awakening, I was also drinking about 4 to 5 or sometimes more whiskeys along with smoking everything. So I would be getting high a lot. I was completely disconnected, completely dissociated. And this was my life 11 years ago, before my spiritual awakening. Anyone who's struggled with any kind of addiction knows how difficult it is to quit. I was blessed because when I had my spiritual awakening, I magically ended up quitting everything overnight with no withdrawals, no problems. I just became a completely different person. This is what happened to me 11 years ago, is that I went through an experience in which I just became a different person. Something shifted in me, and the next morning, I had no interest in smoking another cigarette and no interest in marijuana. I just became a different person. And this is what I call grace. And I believe that grace is one of the forces that operates completely independently, and it comes to people not just because you want it, not just because you deserve it, but grace operates in a way that can almost feel random. But I believe that there is a way to influence grace. I believe grace comes for people who are ready to receive, fully receive whatever grace has to offer them. And I do believe that the reason a lot of people don't experience grace, even if they ask for it, is they're not truly ready to fully receive what's going to come. Because when grace strikes, it destroys, it disrupts, it completely upends your life. And to truly receive grace, I believe the the thing that influences grace the most is attachment. The more we are attached to the way things are, and the more we are attached to the way we want them to work and how it should happen, there's less opportunity for grace to strike. Usually, grace hits at rock bottom for many people, simply because they've lost all attachment, they've given up, there's nothing more to do. And so grace swoops in and completely changes everything. But grace is a very disruptive force. It's a very destructive force, and it tends to change everything. For some people, you may not want that, and that's completely fine. You may want things to move slower. You may want things to be more in control, completely fine. But for the people who want something radical, I do believe that We all can receive grace. I have been blessed by grace more than once, not just once. And each time it was because I had nothing left to lose. I had no attachment. I was ready for a complete change in my life. And I've seen this with several other people who are truly just, in a sense, they have given up. Grace comes. But I don't believe we need to be at rock bottom to receive grace. I don't believe that we need our life to be a complete disaster to receive grace. I believe grace can keep lifting us higher and higher and higher. As long as we are not attached to the way life is supposed to be, to the way life is. If we are ready, then grace can take us where we are meant to be. Things can happen that make absolutely no sense. But that's grace. If you want things to make sense, if you want a logical story, it's not going to come through grace. And that's fine. There are other avenues where the divine can come into your life and things can happen. But if you truly want grace, you have to let go of all the stories of how life is supposed to play out, how you're supposed to receive the best things, how you're supposed to make it happen. Allow. You don't even have to want it. I did not want to quit smoking. I did not want to quit anything I was doing. I loved my life. Like truly, I cannot tell you how much I loved my life. I was perfectly fine with the way things were. When I had my experience, I loved getting high. I did not want to quit anything. But grace did not come change my life because I wanted it. It's because that was what was meant to happen. It's because I was meant to have my spiritual awakening. I was ready to answer. At some level, something inside me was ready to answer the call that came with the divine. But if I had not been ready, if just imagine I received this gift and I'm like, I don't want it. I'm not interested. I will just go back to smoking and drinking and just living the life I'm living. Why will grace waste its time on me? Or why will the divine bless me with something which I am not even going to honor and receive? And I truly believe that this is the core. How much will you honor the divine gifts that come your way? That is the amount you will receive. This is why I was speaking about reverence. Our attitude of reverence, if we truly believe that we are going to receive something so precious, so sacred, and we show up in this way, not out of begging, not out of powerlessness, but we come from power. We are truly ready to receive what the divine has in store for us and act on it from power and be collaborators with the divine. Respond from this place of give me responsibility, give me whatever is meant for me because I want to give back, not from this give me grace so that I can live in a mansion and rest of the world can go in a dump. But also wanting to reciprocate. Like that was for me the calling that I received when before I quit everything. Right. Like so before I had this experience of grace where I quit everything overnight, literally. The day before that, I received my calling to go on the spiritual journey and train and become a teacher. And I answered the calling immediately. And I truly believe it was because I was ready to completely sacrifice my life. I was completely ready to quit my job at Amazon, which was paying me $200,000 a year. I was ready to move to Brazil in the middle of nowhere with no support, no familiarity, nothing. I was ready to let go of all certainty. I was ready to let go of all the comforts and convenience of modern life to follow my calling. And I believe it was because of my commitment of that calling that grace blessed me with lifting everything, like without any struggle. Because if I had to quit smoking in the traditional way, it's a struggle. If you're going to from 40 cigarettes a day to zero, it's a massive struggle. I had no withdrawals. I had no issues. And I truly believe that these kinds of things are possible for people. I've seen it. I've seen it so many times. And I'm not talking specifically about healing only. There's so many ways in which grace can bless us. But there is something it wants in return. It's not a transaction, but it's you honoring the gift that you're being given. Let me just see the chat here. I'm glad that you're finding it really deep. And there was another question. So, do you see grace as a call to adventure, the start of the hero's journey? Not necessarily. I believe it can come at many stages. And it can come in a way that completely wrecks your life too. I do. Okay, so I will say something that's probably very controversial. I do believe that grace can destroy your life in the worst way possible. We actually have someone in the audience who had a major life-threatening illness and was on the hospital bed and had a death experience and came out on the other side. And I believe that's grace too. And I don't necessarily see that it's the call to adventure, because in the beginning it can look completely different. It doesn't have to always come in the nicest way. It can come in a very disruptive way. It can come in a way that truly destroys it. But if you can see that as a blessing, as a divine blessing, that is the attitude. Can you start taking the attitude that everything that's happening in your life is a divine blessing? Everything that's going wrong is a divine blessing. Everything that's out of place is a divine blessing. It's an attitude. There was another question. How did the call reveal itself to me? I had a vision. So this happened for me with the sacred plants known as ayahuasca. That was how I had my spiritual awakening. I'm going to be going deeper into this story tomorrow, not today, but I had a visionary experience in which I saw my future, and it was presented as an alternate timeline. So I had one timeline going as my life was going, and then another timeline presented itself, which required me to completely switch and become a different person. So that's how I received the invitation. When hardship occurs, the fact of grace reassures that whatever this is, it is not happening to me, but for me. Yes, exactly. I believe we can influence grace with this attitude of everything is happening for me. And that's one of the big attitudes that invites more grace into our life. But you can have the attitude of everything is happening for me, but still be very attached to the way life is. And in that, like it's a contradiction. I know what I'm saying sounds kind of like a contradiction, but I feel like that attitude has many levels. Everything is happening for me. You can have many levels of acceptance. Everything is happening for me until something is not happening for me. And we all have this, and it's something to honor about ourselves, that we have levels of acceptance. We have levels of how much we can receive, how much we can hold, how much we can contain. And it's in knowing our level that we can expand. So I am coming towards a close here, and I'm going to give my final contemplation for today. As I was describing, I see spirituality and divinity as two different levels. Spirituality is just energy. It's the full energetic world. For me, divinity is a level higher. And divinity is not just God. Divinity, in my way of looking at it, is three principles combined. One is the active principle, the light, the masculine, what is typically called God. It's also the principle of order. But for me, that's not the only thing that is divine. This is usually what is considered the realm of holy and sacred. So I want to separate the words holy and sacred from the word divine. Because for me, divine is also the darkness, the chaos, the goddess, the feminine, the disruption, the passive. That too is divine. And it's this duality that we are constantly experiencing, the masculine and the feminine, in a constant dance. And what brings them in union, what keeps them in union, is the spirit. That's the third principle. It's not neutral, it's literally the unifying force, it's the harmonizing principle. It's the one that keeps the energy circulating between these two principles. So when we have the yin and yang symbol, we have the black and the white sides, but there is a line in between. And that's what I see as a spirit. If you've seen my logo, it has two snakes eating each other's tails. And let me see if I can just share that very quickly. Yeah. So this logo, this was one of the visions I had about 10 years ago. And I see these two snakes as light and dark, as the eternal divine flow of life. Light eats dark and dark eats light. That's how I see it. The food for light is darkness, and the food for darkness is light. And neither is good, neither is bad. In the eyes of the divine, it's all divine. We have been polarized into this darkness is bad, light is good, order is good, chaos is bad. But everything is divine. And if we can come into this level of reality, that's when we enter into the divine union with the spirit. Even in our own bodies, in our brains, we have two hemispheres. We have the left hemisphere, which is considered typically logical and masculine and rational. We have the right hemisphere, which is the creative, the feminine, the irrational. But there is something in between the two. So there is this link between the two, which keeps them synchronized, which keeps them unified, which keeps us functioning. Without that link, we completely break down. If the left and the right hemisphere are not communicating with each other, and they're not in harmony, they're not in union, we are not who we are. We completely break down. So for me, the divine is when all of these three principles are working together. And in this experience, we're going to be exploring the divine light, the order of God, the holy, the sacred. We're going to be exploring divine darkness, disruption, chaos, and the purpose of it, and how it plays in our lives, how we can embrace it, how we can use it for flow, how we can use it to go to the next level. And we're going to be exploring spirit, that which creates harmony, that which keeps us in balance, that which keeps us flowing. And at the same time, we all have a capacity of how much energy we can hold and how much of divine energy we can receive. And this is usually what is happening when I'm doing transmissions with people, is that I am not just channeling words, and I'm not just channeling any energy. I'm going to be channeling divine energy, divine light. And that has the ability to rewire you in the moment. That has the ability to alchemize things in your body, in your system, and change things. Go to a whole different level. But the reason there is a beautiful video about this, that there's a reason that channels and mediums exist, is because many of us are not prepared to receive the divine light directly, because it would blind us, it would destroy us. It's literally what would happen to you if you were standing right in front of the sun without any filter. You would go blind very quickly. You need some kind of filter to receive enough sunlight that is healthy for you. That's what happened to me. My life was very disrupted because I received a blast of that divine light. But that was my journey, because I was meant to go through this journey to become a medium, to become a channel, that I can bring it to others. And I believe that as we're going through this experience, this is what I'll be helping each person to deepen, to integrate, is the amount of divine light you can hold and how much closer you can be to the divine yourself, how much you can receive the divine light directly yourself and expand your own energy, your own channel, cleaning up your own channel. Through the understanding that divine is equally disruptive as it is constructive and creative. It has the power to destroy old programs, old identities, old energies which do not belong, but that we are identified with. A lot of us are very identified with our darkness. If you have depression, you can see depression as a dark energy, or you can say, I am depressed, which means you have become identified with the dark energy. You have become the dark energy. So when the light comes and destroys the dark energy, it's literally killing you because you believe that you are the dark energy. I believe that the only thing that stands in between us and the divine is illusion. And all illusion is the cause of disconnection. And all disconnection is the cause of pain. And pain is the fundamental reality for humans. We're running from pain towards pleasure. But if we can start seeing pain as a portal towards the divine, because pain is what will help us to connect to ourselves. And that is what will take us further into connecting with the divine by destroying illusion. Destroying the illusion that we are separate from the divine. Destroying the illusion that we are just an ego. Because the ego is separation and the divine is connection. And the divine destroys disconnection. The divine destroys separation. And that's what will be happening a lot during this experience. All disconnection, all illusion that you have between you and the divine is what you will be lifting, what you will be clearing, so that you have a clearer channel, a clearer connection to the divine. I, from my experience, know that pain is the portal to pleasure. Pain is the portal to purpose and fulfillment. Pain is the portal to prosperity and abundance. And pain is the portal to peace. You want peace? You have to learn to be okay with pain. If you're always running from pain, you're never going to find peace. If you keep avoiding pain, you're not going to experience true pleasure. If you're avoiding pain, you're not going to find your purpose, because your purpose involves pain. You cannot embrace your purpose and fulfill your mission if you don't want any pain. Because your purpose, your mission comes with pain, because it's part of the divine. Pain is divine. This doesn't mean addiction to pain, doesn't mean addiction to suffering, it doesn't mean masochism, doesn't mean sadism. But pain is natural, and all natural pain is divine. And when we learn to stop judging others who are causing us pain and start seeing that they are portals of the divine, bringing us exactly what we are meant to experience, that's when we get closer to the divine. And we start seeing everything as a portal to the divine. So this is how I would like you all to start experiencing your life, your reality in this experience during these days, at least. You can, of course, take it later, but at least during these days, if you can practice these things and share your contemplations in the Facebook group. From tomorrow, I will also start calling some more people for personalized transmissions. So what your experiences are outside of these live calls is going to be very important during these live calls. So please do these exercises. If nothing happens, it's fine. It's totally fine. You can also see why nothing is happening. But if you sincerely do these exercises, if you take the time to connect, I do believe it will work for everyone. And if it doesn't, maybe there's a blockage and I can help you to clear that out. But one way or the other, we're going to get you to have your experience to connect with the divine, to encounter the divine. Just check chat. So, are there any other questions? Because I'm going to be closing this soon. Any questions, any reflections, any contemplations that have come up during this call that you would like to share? I will open it up. If you want to unmute yourself, if you want to share something, just raise your hand and I would love to hear from you what you've got from this experience so far. You can either share it in the comments or you can raise your hand and I will unmute you. I know a couple of people missed the start time. It's all good. It's been recorded. You can watch it later. And then it's going to be at the same time every day. So we are at 1 hour 40 minutes now, or 1 hour 20 minutes now. So that's when. Is there anyone who would like to share something before we close for today? Elise, let's unmute.
I think I'm going to be taking pain as a portal to the divine, and pain is divine with me. It's like yesterday I was experiencing a lot of really strange, like childhood baggage, unprocessed pain was just coming up, just really from no trigger whatsoever. There was no stimulus around me. Maybe that's why I was coming up, I don't know. But I was like, this is very interesting and deeply unpleasant. And yeah, I think something just very like just clicked for me when I'm like, okay, this is why it was coming up now. Now I've got this piece and I'm gonna, I think, experience it from a completely different angle now.
So what I can suggest for you and for anyone else who experiences something similar is that if you're experiencing pain, feel it. And in some moment, you will know that you can decide to shift it into pleasure, that you have the power to alchemize that pain into pleasure. But that can only happen if you're truly feeling it without any resistance and you're feeling it in its fullness. A moment comes when you can say, okay, now I can shift this. Now I can enjoy my life. So the reason I'm saying this is that for many people, when they start feeling the pain, they can start drowning in it. And there is a moment where you have to use your power and shift. So if you can just use this as a tool and see what happens. If you find yourself drowning in it, pull out of it. I'm not suggesting anyone to drown in pain. That's not the purpose of this. But allow pain into your life. It's not a bad thing. It's what connects you to life. It's the portal to the divine. Don't fight it. Don't see it as something bad. Don't see it as something to avoid. See it as a portal. Because what we end up doing when we are avoiding pain, we end up disconnecting from ourselves. We are cutting out part of ourselves that is in pain. And that just ends up reducing us. And when more pain happens, we reduce further and further and further until we disappear. And this is what happened to me. For a long time, I had disappeared because I was avoiding all kinds of pain. I only wanted to be high and numb and disconnect. And when I woke up, when I was graced and blessed to quit all my addictions, I was not blessed with a pain-free body. So let me add this piece. It wasn't like magic happened and I had no pain after that. All my pain came alive at that time. The blessing I received was to not have the struggle of quitting my addiction, of quitting the substances. But there was a big price I had to pay, which was to feel all the pain that I had been numbing for all of that time. And it did not come all at once. It came in degrees. It came in degrees. It came in layers. And in every single layer, I had the challenge of not wanting to escape, not wanting to avoid, not wanting to go back to my addiction and numbing, but to keep confronting it, to keep facing the pain, and to keep growing, to keep connecting with myself more and more and more. Because each pain that I was connecting with, I was connecting to a deeper layer of myself, bringing home another level of myself. So again, grace doesn't mean everything becomes beautiful. And even if you're blessed, doesn't mean everything is perfect. There are lots of blessings that we can receive. It's just to allow ourselves to receive what we do and then honor it by facing whatever we need to face. So thank you for sharing that, Scott. So Fiona asks, can you speak to the collective pain? Right now I'm carrying and or restricting the pain of others and my own as my city and country are in distress. And similarly, the pain and depression of my family members. Okay, this is a great question. I'm wondering if I open this and answer. Okay, let me answer briefly and then I will go deeper over the next days. In my experience, to process others' pain and the collective pain, we first need to face our own pain. And until we do that, we cannot effectively help anyone else and the collective. However, the collective pain and family pain is affecting us, we have to deal with it first individually. That a lot of that happens by shifting our worldview, by realizing that there is a purpose for darkness, there is a purpose for chaos, there is a purpose for pain. A lot of the suffering that we have because of collective pain is usually because we do not accept that there is a place for it in the world. We have this ideal of utopia, of heaven, that life on earth is supposed to be perfect and pain-free and everyone is entitled to complete freedom and all their rights and fairness and justice and all of this. And when we see the opposite of that, it causes a lot of pain and suffering. And until we learn to see that life on earth is what it is, this is the earth experience, that there is pain, that there is injustice, that there is inequality, that not everyone has the same rights and same freedoms, and many people don't have rights and freedoms, and many animals don't have rights and freedoms, and many plants are being destroyed, and all of this is happening. Until we can accept that this is Earth, and this is the Earth experience, we will keep suffering and we cannot do anything to change the collective. But once we come into true acceptance of what Earth is and what the Earth experience is, that's when we can shift the balance and do something just to keep things in harmony, not to create utopia. This is the biggest issue I see in the spiritual community. Everyone who's fighting on the light side wants to create a utopia. Everyone wants to make a perfect world where everything is right, and they will never succeed, and everything will just keep failing and falling apart. And then there's frustration and there's resentment, and there's a blame game of it's because of them that we are losing, and it's because of them that there's a problem. But the people who are trying for utopia are as much part of the problem, because they're not seeing the world as it is meant to be. Only when we can see the world as it is meant to be, then we can have acceptance for the divine darkness and allow that, yes, there are people who are meant to experience pain, because that is part of their divine unfolding. That is part of their growth. And that can only happen when you have accepted the pain in your life and said, yes, this pain is here for me. Yes, this pain is here to help me grow. If you do not even have that acceptance for yourself, how can you help anyone else? And how can you allow someone else to be in pain at the right time and help them at the right time? A lot of the times we want to help people and just take their pain away. But that's not help. You're actually stealing something that's a precious opportunity for them. You're taking away a portal to the divine for them. But if you can help them to accept their pain and move through it and make it a portal and connect to the divine, it's a completely different thing. And that's a lot of what will happen in here. Is I will be helping people to shift that and accept that this is the portal. We want this very angelic portal where everything is perfect, where everything is beautiful and things are easy. But those portals, if they're not in your life, they're not in your life. Will you use the portals that are in your life? So this is where I'm going to close it for today. This is just the kickoff. It's going to go much deeper. Tomorrow is, in my eyes, when the full experience begins. Today was the foundation. Today was the setup. And it's already been quite deep and it's already been quite profound. And I'm glad that you'll have come, that you'll have interacted, you'll have brought your questions, because all of that makes the experience much richer. So I would encourage you all to keep doing that, encourage you all to do the exercises and share in the group, bring it to the live experience, and let's go to a whole different level. Thank you so much once again for all your participation, for your presence, and for those who are watching the replays too. I would love to see you in another live experience during these days. And last thing I will say before closing is that for those who are still not signed up for the full experience, so I have put 2 levels right now. There's the initiation, which was free to sign up for, which will be 3 more days. And then there's the full experience. Right now, it is still at $1, because my intention with this experience is to give back. But at the same time, to honor that some people took that and others did not, in 24 hours, I'm going to change the price and it's going to go up by $10 every single day. So you still have the opportunity to sign up for the full experience, which will be going on for a minimum of 10 more days. And I don't know how much longer it goes, but if you do sign up for $1, you will get the full experience no matter how long it goes. And then after that, whenever you sign up, it's going to keep going up by $10. And whenever you find it, you choose to sign up, that will be the price for you for the full experience. So I will be sending out an email with the link if you want to sign up for the full experience, for those who haven't yet. For those who have, I'm very excited for you to be going on this journey for at least the next 10 days. And it won't be 10 continuous days, but it'll be 10 calls, 10 live calls. And that's about it for today. More information about the experience will keep coming through. If you have any questions, you can email me, you can use the Facebook group, you can send me a private message. I'm here to support you. And that's it for today. See you tomorrow. Yes, thank you.